Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. This is Zach over at NV Woodworks. So today I want to cover HDPE molds for resin casting. It's what I use for just about all of my square molds when I'm casting pen blanks and other turning blanks. And I just wanted to kind of cover why I use them, where to get the materials, and how I construct my own. And I want to share with you a couple vendors that are making some really high quality ones that you can just buy pre-made or even have them custom built. So let's get started. All right, so HDPE, what is that even? It stands for high density polyethylene. And it's a plastic, I'm gonna say quote unquote plastic. I heard recently that I think that it might actually be a wax base. I don't really know. It feels like plastic to me, so I'm just gonna call it a plastic. But high density polyethylene, it is by far the best material to use for molds. It's totally non-stick. Now, there is a life to it. Eventually, your resins, especially some of the harsher resins, epoxies tend to really wear on molds, even silicone molds. But I mean, it's pretty much non-stick. Now, I will say that it isn't a bad idea to use mold release on these. It'll extend the life. However, when you make one, the castings pretty much just pop right out. So it'll kind of extend the life, like I said, but it's not really necessary at all because it doesn't really want to stick to it. So where do you get HDPE? There's a lot of places online that you can get it. I've seen it on Amazon. I buy mine usually from Grainger. I've started using it and it's a good product. I trust it, so I just keep buying from them. If you have a plastic store or any online plastic store, you can buy it from them. The biggest problem with buying this stuff, if you buy kind of a bigger sheet of it, it's gonna cost a lot for shipping. So if you have a local plastics dealer, much cheaper to walk in there, buy it, and then leave. And that's actually what I do with Grainger. They ship it to the store in Reno, and I just go pick it up and I save myself the shipping costs. Now, I'll have links to where I get mine down in the show notes, and I also have links to pretty much all of the things that I use on my website on the tools I use page. So that's a menu item, and it has almost all the casting stuff, all the turning stuff that I use, at least most of it. So if you're ever in doubt and want to know what I'm using, head over to that Tools I Use resource page on my website and you'll have a direct link to the specific product that I use. Now, when I buy mine, I get two different sizes actually. I get 1/2 inch thickness and I get 3/4 inch thickness. I use 3/4 for the base because that helps keep the walls more square, let's say. It just provides more surface area for those walls to lean up against. So I get a more square, a more perpendicular box. And the other thing is, it's much easier to hit the center of 3/4 inch material when you're drilling and screwing the screws in than it is for 1/2 inch. I found that a lot of times you'd be off just a little bit, and because I use standard size wood screws, that's the easiest ones to get for me. If you're off a little bit, it'll bulge out the bottom, and you don't want that. That'll leave little lumps in your mold. So 3/4 is kind of the way that I go. A lot of people just use 1/2 inch for everything though. Now, the construction method that I use is all butt joints. I just basically screw all the little pieces together. In my melamine mold video, which I'll link to, I go through it's the same exact process that I use for melamine molds or these. So it shows in depth, how I pre-drill and screw everything together. So go check that out if you want to make your own. Now, I want to talk about places that you can get them. I know a lot of people don't have access to, table saws or tools, or frankly don't want to make them. And I got to be honest, I don't love making these things. A lot of people have asked me to make them melamine molds or HDPE molds, and I refuse. I don't have time to do it, and I don't like doing it. So I'm happy to announce there are two places that you can get molds made or pre-made or even custom built to your specifications depending on what you need. Now, the first is Lizard Blanks. That's Jared up in Oregon. He makes fabulous ones. He actually uses a slightly different material. It's called ultra high molecular weight, UHMW, which is basically just a more dense HDPE from what I understand. But they work fabulous. I don't know that they work any different than HDPE. I haven't noticed any major differences. However, Jared does a couple of different things with his molds. Compared to the way that I make mine, everything's just a butt joint. It's just all kind of butted up against each other, and then I hold it in place, pre-drill the holes, and countersink screws, and then screw it together. Now, this works fine as long as you have everything lined up properly before you pre-drill it and keep it in place while you're doing all that. Jared makes his with grooves and everything, so it all fits together nice. And then he has one thing that's kind of neat. Personally, I don't I don't need this feature because I'm just used to using a screwdriver, basically a screw gun, to unscrew the ends of mine, and it's faster for me doing it that way. But if you don't want to if you don't want to have to use tools, Jared just uses these posts, and his actually come with wing nuts, but I just switched them out for 1/4 20 nuts. And you can do everything without tools, which is pretty nice. Now, one thing that I did find though is the holes, it's a little bit hard to get that off. That's why I kind of like my way. I just grab a screw gun and go zip, zip, zip. Everything's out completely, and then the piece falls off. This takes a little bit of work to wiggle it off, but it's really an awesome design, especially for, I know a lot of people don't really want to have to mess with tools to take their molds apart. I do this daily because I'm running a business making pen blanks, so it's just, I have a screw gun that's set up to do this stuff over by where I demold, so that works better for me personally. Now, the other source, and another very good one, is Fred Wisson over at P-Town Subby. He's making HDPE molds. He makes them fairly similar to me, but he also does the kind of groove design, and it's all CNC'd out. And the interesting thing about the way he does it, he actually uses inserts and machine screws so that everything's really smooth and you have no chance of stripping out. When you're screwing and unscrewing your mold. That is one thing that can happen if you're not careful the way that I do it, just using wood screws. But like I said, Fred uses inserts. Everything's real smooth. But again, you're going to use a screwdriver or a screw gun to take it apart. So, that's kind of the big difference. Basically, same quality. I would kind of say it depends on if you want to go toolless or if you want to go with the inserts. And both can make custom sizes. They have a bunch of different ones. And Jared's got a couple of different types of molds. He's got like duck call molds and all these different types of things. He's kind of innovative on his site with different HDPE things. On Fred's site, he also does silicone molds. And so you got, between these two companies, you got every kind of mold that you could ever want available to you. And like I said, most of them are already pre-built, obviously in specific sizes. However, if you want to get something custom built, both can do that too. So overall, I hope that this is helpful. I know that a lot of people have used the melamine molds and have gotten good results, but I also do know that some people have gotten not so good results. And I think it depends on the material that you actually buy. Some of that melamine is less non-stick than others I've found. The stuff that I got was pretty non-stick, but either way, if you didn't use mold release agent, it would stick in there. So this eliminates that problem completely. They're really not that hard to make. It's about the same difficulty, I guess, if you want to make your own. But they really last a pretty long time, and it's a pretty good material. So I hope you guys give this a shot. Again, I'll have links to all the materials, where I get the HDPE plastic sheets myself down in the show notes, as well as a link to Lizard Blanks and P-Town Subby if you want to check out pre-made stuff. You don't want to mess around with making it yourself. And I'll have a link to my melamine mold making video as well. It's, like I said, the same exact construction method as that I use for HDPE as I used for melamine. So I hope that helps out. I hope you guys give HDPE a shot, and I hope that it helps you with your resin casting. Hope you have some fun using some HDPE molds in your shop. So if this is your first time on my channel, we do all kinds of resin casting projects, tips and tricks, and experiments around here. Usually turning focused, but every once in a while I'll step out of the turning world and do something just for fun that doesn't involve a lathe. But if you're interested in that, definitely hit that subscribe button so you get notified when new videos get posted. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.